Good morning. I'm live. It's Andy Henderson, your Sherpa guide, and Gino in the background. Look at Gino. Hey! This live is about mistakes. I've been thinking a lot about mistakes, about lessons learned recently, and they're a massive source of learning for us all as individuals, as individual people, but for all as a human race, the planet. We should learn from our lessons. And how many lessons, how many mistakes, how many massive balls up have you made in your life? How many times have you made a massive mistake, thought you'd absolutely failed, felt sick in the stomach, only to discover 3 months later, 6 months later, 3 years later, that was actually the best thing that could have ever happened to you? How about that? I'm creating a new podcast called Failing Forward, and I'm going to be sharing the journeys of many entrepreneurs and professional people, and I'm going to be listening to live on air their mistakes and how much of a valuable source of learning that's been for them, and also they're going to be sharing that with all you guys. I'm going to end up with a library of everyone's mistakes, everyone's failures, and how they counteracted those failures, and how those failures and mistakes shaped their lives. Mistakes and failures shape all our lives. We know our own lessons learned. We look back with hindsight. We look at this stuff and we're like, oh my God, I'm so glad that happened. But at the time, I felt sick. I felt like I've absolutely failed. Like, life was over. But we look back with hindsight and we think, no, that was the best thing that could have happened. So let me ask you a question. What mistakes have you made? When was the last time you thought you failed? But then you can look back on that failure and think, no, that was literally the best thing that happened to me. It course corrected me. It put me on the path I'm now on, to the top of my mountain, to my destiny, not someone else's. I made a massive mistake in my corporate career. We were an IT company. We sold loads, millions and millions of pounds worth of hardware. Good morning, if you're just watching this now, good morning. Thanks for tuning in. We're talking about failures and mistakes. I made a massive one, right? We were like a £12 million IT company. We sold loads and loads of hardware, very low margins, and my aspiration for the business was to evolve it into a services business, a business that made more money, a business that delivered more value, a business that was close to its customers, part of a customer's DNA. We couldn't do that just selling product. We were making 2, 3, 4, 5% margin on products. It wasn't enough. It didn't represent the value that we were able to deliver. And on my evolution as director to MD, I had this great idea. I couldn't motivate people to sell services quickly enough. So what I said was, stop selling hardware, stop selling all the hardware and just concentrate on services. And it was a disaster. I felt like it was the biggest mistake I could have ever made. I felt like a failure because our sales dropped like an anchor in the sea. Cash flow went through the floor. We made a massive loss in the first couple of months. I mean, hundreds of thousands of pounds loss. And I was on the verge of getting fired. We had to quickly scramble around and turn things back on and evolve our services business at the side. And it taught me a massive lesson. Never neglect your core business. Always understand that core business is the thing today that's giving you cash flow, paying your wages, paying your bills. But when you've got a new evolution coming, when your business is transforming into something else, keep the transformational side of the business on the side. Sell that service to the new customers and position yourselves as business 2.0, the new business, and move forwards towards that. And when you get to a point where that side of the business is really ramping up and it's profitable and there's massive demand for it and people are loving that service, then you can start focusing on that solely and selling the core part of the business as an incidental. And that's what we did. And it enabled us to double the size of the business from 12 to 25 million, and it helped us 10x profitability, significant amount, over £1 million EBITDA. So tell me about your failures. What have you done? What was your last failure? What was your last biggest mistake that you ever made that actually wasn't a failure? It was a massive lesson learned, and it helped put you on the right path to where you are now. That's all from me today. So bye from me. Bye from Gino De Camper. I'm out at a customer site called Askew's Refrigeration. Fabulous business, been around for over 30 years. Specialists in air conditioning, heating and cooling. Fabulous team, really good. We're on day 8 of Success GPS. The map is almost complete and I'm very excited to see where we go from here. So have a great day, have a great week. It's been great to speak to you. See you real soon. Remember, you're just one step away.